Hey Hamm Mann, you online? I've got a challenge for you. Play as the Haybailer on Dastardly difficulty, and try and beat Dastardly Challenge 3. Difficulty level? Or even try and do it as Professor Pat Pending. That's even more bullshit. I spent the last 5 hours trying, never making it past the game. Found it easier with the Haybailer, and the Professor is absolutely Alright then, let's see if I can do this. Oh, I've already done this like 5 times before. Yeah, I'm sorry NinjaClan, but if I've already beaten the World Frontier Dastardly Challenge with the Bouldermobile, then naturally this isn't going to be that much of a challenge. But to make it up for you, I'm going to make an in-depth video on how to beat this specific challenge. And not too long ago, I also discovered a hidden cheat code which makes the boss fights way easier, and generally makes a lot of the races easier as well. So, what is that cheat code? Well, I'm gonna do the classic YouTuber thing of only telling you at the end of the video. Woohoo! And with that bombshell, let's start the video!
3, 2, 1, go!
You'll have enough tokens to boost by the time you're done with the first 2 corners, and the best place to boost is cutting all the way through here and using it to get some airtime as well, as Dastardly almost always takes the wide path, giving you a much easier cut to get close to him. Usually for the Snowtop Drop stage, the way to defeat Dastardly is by playing until he makes a mistake, because there's a good 30% or so chance that either A, he completely misses the boost pad over here, or B, he gets hit by the tractor beam either 1 or more times. And if you're lucky, you can even get both. He missed it. It's always hilarious when that happens. Also, I know this isn't related to the analysis, but I always thought the minimap for Snowtop Drop looked like Japan. And now you can never unsee this. I forgot that's not my look back. Snowtop Drop is sort of in the middle for difficulty, because on one hand, Dastardly could slip up at either the tractor beam or the boost pad, giving you a free win, but on the other hand, if he doesn't, then even if he gets a good amount of distance ahead, the end of the stage is a massive straight, which makes it easier for almost every item to connect, meaning that if he does get ahead by the spiral, your race is still far from over. We'll just see how things pan out. Here, due to where Dastardly picks up the tokens, there's usually going to be either 1 or 2 tokens directly in the path that you would take, which is a pretty nice bonus for taking the hills directly. Normally, Dastardly would be almost impossible to catch up with the Crimson Haybailer, but in this massive stretch, you're able to spam paintballs to bring him to a screeching halt. Normally, attacks aren't that handy on the bosses, but this is one of the rare exceptions. Also, when you hit them, you're going to want to make sure that you chain hits over and over rather than doing hit, then a little bit later a hit, because if you chain the hits, then they won't be able to get up to speed again, and they'll spend longer being slower, if that makes any sense. Damn it, I didn't pick up that extra token. This would be very insane. This is the most important part of the entire stage, as it's absolutely crucial that you're ahead of Dastardly by this fence. Because from here, the stage is nothing but tight turns over and over and over again. And there's also a barrage of tokens just ahead. And if Dastardly is already ahead by then and picks up those tokens, well, pack your things and restart because you pretty much already lost.
No, you don't!
Let's see if I can get him in the next attempt had a way better example of what happens when you land all the attacks sequentially, rather than just one after the other after the other. Here is where the oldest strat in the book comes in, because due to an oversight by the developers, if you attack a boss AI while they're in the middle of one of their attacks, then they won't shield, because they don't pay any attention to if any attacks are coming. Meaning that if you hit Dastardly while he's placing down a glue pool, it's the freest hit of all time. If you're in this position, then Dastardly will either use one of two attacks, those being either the Shrink Ray or the Magnet. Now, what I find funny is that a lot of people are scared of the Shrink Ray, but in reality, it's the Magnet here that's really scary. Because if Dastardly uses the Magnet, then he can just casually pass you again and then boost. And because you're still using a shield, you won't be able to retaliate to any of that. So in other words, if he uses the Magnet in the Ono zone, you've lost. And what I find especially funny is that someone made a review of Wacky Race's PS2 not too long ago. And pay attention to this section.
Okay, so let's pretend you've actually managed to pass him. You're using boosts when this thing appears. This can mean one of two things. It's either going to suck away your tokens, so you can no longer boost or shield yourself, or it's the goddamn Shrink Ray. The worst weapon in the game.
I love how he has it in his head that, oh, the Shrink Ray? Oh, no, that completely ruins the game. Boo, not a fan of the Shrink Ray. But, when in reality, the Magnet is 10 times more problematic than the Shrink Ray. Though to be fair, he does say this about 15 seconds before that.
The only time you can use attacks without the shield getting in the way is if he's using that helicopter move.
Watch out ahead, Racer!
Which I swear is the only hovering move in the game where the AI doesn't slow down when they use it.
Don't forget that Dastardly has his own collision
you've lost
too.
the lead!
What the? Where did it go?
Out ahead, Racer!
If you're using the Crimson Haybailer, then to be viable, you pretty much have to use tight turning, which is a secret feature you get when you hold both L1 and R1, which allows for your car to, you know, turn tighter at the cost of not being able to use abilities during it, and also having your acceleration nuked. Let's go! When the Mean Machine jumps over the hill, the AI gets confused and takes one of two paths, either going entirely straight on, or going out of its way to go onto the left side of the rock. Now, you want him to go on the leftward side of the rock, because that takes way longer.
That should keep them out of the Wacky Race for a while.
Hey, Dastardly, look at me. Ups and Downs is by far the easiest stage out of the three you play, because this stage was intended to house Dastardly, while the first two stages didn't have him in consideration at all, which especially hurt Wood Stockade. The trick is to always take the right path, because even though Dastardly always takes the leftward path, the right path is lined with a metric shit ton of tokens, which allows you to absolutely propel your way ahead, and means that you'll probably have at least one interaction with Dastardly. Honestly, you have to either be really unlucky or an idiot to lose at this stage.
So long, fellas!
This last part isn't an analysis of anything, it's just really funny.
And the Crimson Haybailer is the winner!
That wasn't even homing on him! How the fuck did I do that? And boom, just like that, challenge complete. Yeah! Wait, no, hold on. I missed a bit, didn't I? Okay, so you guys have stuck around until the end of the video. Let me show you that cheat code I was talking about in the beginning of the video.
Yes, I know.
Something which, even though it's not a conventional cheat code, and no one has discussed it before, is still pretty much a cheat code to make every single boss 1,000 times easier.
3, 2, 1, go!
Let me cook with this. Advanced steering is probably the most undeveloped thing in this entire game, which is kind of saying a lot when there is literally a mechanic where you do tricks in midair which the devs literally forgot to code. The main reason it's so unfinished is because the AI has absolutely no idea how to handle it. Not even the boss AI. It gets so ridiculous that eventually the rubber banding has to autopilot the AI into actually doing the stage right, which can make for bizarre looking shit like this. But if you're playing as the Crimson Haybailer, it completely ignores any turning changes. Yeah, that's right, the guy using a literal plane doesn't turn any heavier on the heavy mode. The only downside is that you can't do any tight turning, which means certain sections like this are 10 times trickier. But considering how much the AI stumbles all over the place, that's a worthy sacrifice. So, yeah, have some fun fucking around with the AI with this one simple change.